I'm gonna be honest, I don't like traveling. I think being in another country is exciting and a great experience, but the process of going to said country is always an exhausting headache, on top of the fact that being on a plane freaks me out a little bit. So, imagine my disappointment when I learned that studying abroad was a mandatory graduation requirement for my major in college. Now, traveling abroad is kind of expensive, especially for a college student living away from their parents, so I picked the cheapest, shortest option that was offered, which happened to be a 1-week trip to Guatemala during spring break. Even though it was the most affordable trip, it was easily one of the best experiences I had while in college. I had to miss a Panic at the Disco concert because it was in the same week, but the amazing time I spent in Guatemala was worth it. But in this video, I'm not going to talk about all the things I did on that trip, which was a lot. I'm going to talk about one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. So we were all staying in a hotel, and I was rooming with 2 girls named Karen and Clarissa. At the time, I didn't really know them. I had an English class with Karen in the previous semester, but we were only acquaintances. Clarissa, on the other hand, I had just met. So the very first thing I noticed upon arrival at our hotel room was the really weak water pressure of both the shower and the toilet. Well, it sure would suck if I clogged the toilet at any point during the week. No! There was no plunger in the bathroom, meaning I had to go downstairs and pray that the hotel receptionist had a plunger I could use. After awkwardly telling my roommates that I just clogged the toilet, I frantically looked up how to say plunger in Spanish because the hotel receptionist didn't speak English. Yo necesito un embolo. I figured he'd hand me the plunger and send me on my way, but he grabbed the plunger and then walked right past me up the stairs. And then I realized, oh no. He's gonna see my poop! Guys, how do I tell him I can do it myself? Yo quiero, do myself. I can do it myself! He got the message and went back downstairs. Crisis averted. Or so I thought. The plunger sucked! It was the flimsiest plunger I'd ever used. It did that thing where it would flip inside out every time I pressed it down, so my efforts were useless. I was afraid it would come to this. So began my walk of shame back to the receptionist. Necesito ayudar, por favor. We spent the next 10 minutes listening to the sloshing of the water as the poor receptionist tried unclogging the toilet with the crappy plunger, which probably doesn't sound that bad, but this dude was going hard with the plunger. You could hear the struggle through the other side of the door like he was battling the fattest toilet monster of the century. Keep in mind, I was sitting next to my 2 roommates, one of whom I'd just met that week. But, to my relief, they were laughing really, really hard. And some of you might be thinking, how is it a relief to be laughed at during an embarrassing situation? Well, because at least they thought it was funny. If they stayed quiet the entire time, I would have died. Silence just makes everything 10 times more awkward because you have no idea what the other person is thinking. They could have been like, damn, she needs more fiber. Why did I agree to let her room with me? With laughter, at least you know your embarrassment was amusing. Of course, I laughed along with them, and despite how inconvenient and gross the moment was, I think it helped make everyone feel more relaxed with each other for the rest of the week. I mean, at least, I'd like to think it did. So I guess the moral of that story is, appreciate strong toilets, or something. And also, be okay with laughing at yourself, because everybody has embarrassing moments. Also, if you ever get the opportunity, you should totally study abroad. It's a great learning experience, and a great time to bond with people that you aren't really familiar with. Seriously, there was, a lot of emotional crying during that trip.